So hi everyone, just again from the Achievement Squad, coming at you with an achievement guide for all the collectibles in A Plague Tale: Innocence. Straight after the training sequence, you want to head to the right, you want to go past the stables and past this guy down in the corner, and you will find a ladder that will take you up. And at the top of the ladder you're going to find a whistle, which is the first gift collectible in the game. There are a grand total of 13 gifts throughout.
There you are. I've been looking everywhere for you.
So the next area for the collectibles is inside the actual house. So this is the front room area when you kind of walk in through the front door. You want to take a right and you're going to go past a set of like kind of a dining room area, and then you want to take a left and go through this door here, and you will see on your left hand side there is another ladder, and in the background a lady cooking away. Climb up to the top of this ladder. You want to take a left and you want to follow it around for your first out of the 26 Curiosities, spices.
Cinnamon. I'd almost forgotten what it smells like. They were right to hide it. Father would...
Now from that same main hall, instead of going to the right this time, you want to go to the left and you want to go up the tower stairwell that is in the building. So head to the left, head all the way up to the stairs, and you will bump into a maid once you get at the top. You'll have a bit of a quick dialogue, and she'll suggest to you that there's something placed on your bed that you need to go see. So once that dialogue is over, follow her into the bedroom and head over to the end of the bed, and you will find the second curiosity, which is a tablecloth.
In that case, I have to finish your room. By the way, I've left a little something for you on your bed. Come and see if you like.
Thank you. It's the placemat that Mother made for me when I was a little girl. I've been looking for it everywhere. Thank you, Lou.
So now we're making our way into chapter 2, and at the start of this chapter, very early on, you'll come into this area which is like a market. Instead of going straight through the market, you want to follow it around to the right, and you want to find your way over to the river. At the river, you will find on the side a gift, which is the second gift of the game, which is a talisman.
Me too. Someone must have...
So for your next collectible in this area, you're going to find what looks like a statue of the Virgin Mary, kind of halfway along as you're going through the city. At this statue, take a right, and you want to follow this alleyway down, and then you want to take a left. When you come into this alleyway, you'll hear some people say, "You're not welcome here," that kind of stuff. Take a little bit of a right, and on top of these boxes in the corner, you will find your next curiosity, which is soap.
Don't touch it, Hugo.
So curious for
Leave it
soap. So a little later on in the level, you'll bump into this old lady who will give you refuge from the enemies. She'll tell you to go upstairs and get changed. So head on upstairs, but instead of getting changed, you're going to head to the left bedside cabinet, and on top of the left-hand bedside cabinet, you're going to find a bunch of incense, which is your next
Mother used to use it.
curiosity. So we're now in chapter 3. This is right at the very start of the chapter. And this will be just after a fight outside, and Hugo will want to place some candles. Kind of walk forwards to that front altar, but head to the right and you will find a rosary, which is the next gift on the table just underneath the statue.
What's it for?
Praying.
Can I use it to talk?
So shortly after this, you're going to be finding your first flower. You'll be following a vicar of some form, and you'll go through a bathhouse that the monks would have been using. As you come out of this bathhouse, you'll walk into this garden-like area. So follow the walkway around, and as you turn left, Hugo is going to run off and he'll go over to the actual flower itself. Whilst he's inspecting that flower, head over and push Y or triangle or whatever it is on him, and he will pick the plant and he will place it into your hair, giving you your first flower of the game.
Wait, come here.
What?
It will protect you, and it's pretty too.
Oh. All right.
Now we can go.
Thank you, Hugo.
So for the third collectible of this chapter, you'll eventually reach a point where you're blocked by some rats, and you'll have to go left and go up the ladder to the top area just here. Once you're at the top of the ladder, you're going to need to turn around and you're going to need to use your slingshot to knock a lamp loose so that it swings above the rats and it disperses them. So take the shot, aim at the shiny metal thing just there, and that will knock that loose. You'll use this as part of going forward for the main story anyway. Once you've done that, head back down the ladder, but we're going to take a little bit of a detour. So we're going to wander under the the swinging flame, and as opposed to going straight on, we're going to take a bit of a right. So sync up with the flame so you don't get killed. Take a right and hop over this ledge just here. And in the far right hand corner, as you can see it glowing away, you will find
Calm down.
brew, which is beer.
What is it? Can we use it on the rats?
No, it smells of beer. They must.
Okay, so not too long after the last collectible, you'll get separated from Hugo. He'll be up in the roof rafters and you'll be solving a puzzle kind of down on the ground. So you need to light up the torches in the area using the twigs, and eventually Hugo will push down from at the top an additional thing that you can set fire to. So once he's pushed that down, you want to backtrack and you want to go get yourself another twig to light up the area, and you would normally do this as part of the actual main story itself. So grab yourself a twig, head over to the nearest fire, to the one Hugo has just pushed down, light up the stick, and you want to wander over to that one there, and you're going to light that one up. Once you've done that, Hugo will climb down from the ladder at the top.
Ready? You can come down now.
Now once he's actually down, you want to backtrack and make your way back to the top, and as soon as you get to the top of the ladder, you will find in front of you a chest. Open up that chest and you will get the Talbard Curiosity.
I know this drawing.
A tabard from the Crusades.
Okay, so now we're making our way into the 4th chapter, and you'll be on the way to the farm. The first item you're going to be going after is a curiosity called a vessel. So as you're making your way along the path, if you actually take a bit of a detour to the right, this is right at the very beginning, and you head down to the water's edge. Now Hugo will actually run off and go look at some bubbles, but take a little bit of a left detour from that jetty that you've just seen and find a tree stump. At the base of that tree stump you will find the vessel.
Sort of jar?
That stuff inside looks strange.
Yes, best leave it here.
So the next collectible for chapter 4 is a journal. So you hit these fields here and Hugo will run off. Wish we kind of left him there. But instead of going through the fields, take a little bit of a right and head down to the water, and you will see a boat that has crashed.
Fair boy.
Next to the body,
From the bite.
you will find a set of notes. So this is a gift.
Notes.
So pick that one up, and it's an
journal.
diary of an
He was
alchemist. So for the third collectible in chapter 4, it is a flower. Once you arrive at the farm, you'll see a horse and some chickens and some pigs, and you want to go straight between them and kind of make your way to the far wall at the back here. Once you reach the far wall, take a bit of a sharp left around the back of the farmhouse. Don't go in because you can't backtrack. And underneath the tree, you will find the next flower. Now, don't do what I do here and just stand here gawking at Hugo. Actually go over and talk to him, and he will pick the flower for you.
This is not really the time, you know.
Please.
All right, go ahead.
It clogged Granny's bonnet. It's as if she's hanging her head because she's sad.
Perhaps she would be less lonely with us.
Yes, it's not good to be alone.
Okay, and so for the 4th and final collectible, after you've gone into the farmhouse, there will be a cutscene where you will meet Lucas. Straight after that cutscene, exit that room, take a left, and you will find another room just further down. Open the door here, go straight in, and you will find a drawing, which is your next curiosity.
What does it represent?
Okay, so now we're in chapter 5, and the first collectible we're going after is a flower. Eventually you'll reach this aqueduct, as you can see. Now normally you would go to the right to follow the main story on, but here we're going to take a left. And you're going to hug the wall, so follow the kind of cliff face around here, so just keep kind of walking straight on and hugging it. And about kind of 3/4 of the way down, you will find a slope that you can walk down to get to the bottom. And at the bottom of this is the next flower. It's a bit of a trek, so it will take a couple of minutes for you to walk through there. At the same time, for me, Hugo was being an absolute bane and not coming with me for some reason. I have no idea why, but I cut that out so you don't have to endure the 2 minutes of me backtracking to go find him. He does rock up eventually, just it's very slow. So once you're down at the waterfront here, you'll see on the right hand side of these rocks, you will see the next flower. So the first collectible of chapter 5.
They're so pretty.
What are they again?
Gladioli.
Ah, yes, of course.
Don't you like them?
That's not a good sign.
Hugo, they're flowers.
So the second collectible of this chapter is a curiosity called a scythe. Eventually you'll reach one of these tower things that reminds me of Lord of the Rings 3 when they were taking over Minas Tirith. Grab yourself a stick and you want to wank your way out to the kind of the cart here that's sat in the middle. You want to light up the fire, the flame element that's on there. And you want to probably leave the kids behind here. So get them to wait. Grab another stick. Light it up from the back of the little kind of cart thing. And look up to the kind of the hill towards the north. And you'll see a man stood there with a piece of with a fire stick. Start making your way over to him. And when you get closer to him, you will see a box and a shiny scythe kind of leaning out. Pick it up. And don't do what I do. Stay alive. Okay, for the next collectible, you'll eventually reach an area where you'll find two men hanging from a tree. Hugo will make the statement of, I don't like it, they've got things hanging from their tummy. You want to knock them down with your slingshot. Once they're down, it will distract the rats and they'll go over and eat the corpses. Take a left and make your way all the way around and you will find a horn on the floor in the corner from one of the captains. This is another point of interest, curiosity. Okay, so for the fourth and final collectible of Chapter 5, we are going for a staff. This one is slightly more trickier to get. So what you want to do is you want to have Lucas lower down this kind of fire catapult kind of thing. And eventually he'll kind of let go of it and it will fling up in the air and it will clear a path to the stairs in front of you where the rats are. You need to do this as part of progressing forward with the story. Head up these steps. You want to look just over the wall and you want to follow one of the thingies that light fires, so chuck that over and set fire to the torch on the other side, and then have Hugo go through the gap and he will come back with a stick.
Go on, Hugo. That's it.
Now, apologies for the dodgy cut here, I did end myself. Take the stick off of Hugo, have Lucas re-trigger the catapult kind of thing. So that will allow you to return back over to him. So once he triggers this, it will fling up in the air, it will clear the rats off of the stairs, and then you'll be able to time your walk back to the catapult. So once he's done that, head back across, and you probably just want to leave Hugo and Lucas here for the time being. Don't get them caught in the rats. So leave them there for the time being. Light off the twig against the fire catapult. As opposed to going to the right, which you would normally do for going forward in the story, you want to make your way through the gap in the wall that you see ahead of you. And you want to keep walking towards the embers that you see just in front. Once you get there, light those embers to just to clear the rats out. And right next to that pile, you will find the next collectible, which is a staff.
Lucas, is this of any use to us?
It's a tool for calculating distance.
Okay, so we're now in Chapter 6, which has got 3 collectibles. You have a new friend and you'll be sneaking through a guard campsite after you've been captured, and you want to watch out for these bottles as you're going through, but as you're going past these sleeping guards, you want to make your way to the end of the tent, take a left at the end of the tent, and need to keep a bit of an eye out for another guard that's kind of wandering around on the left hand side here. Your next collectible is on the picnic bench to your right. So once he's moved out of the way, you can see it kind of gleaming a little bit there. You want to make your way over to that bench and you want to pick up the jacks that are actually on the bench there.
Jacks. For Hugo. When we're far away from here.
Okay, so the next collectible is after your friend has looted a tent. As you head outside, don't head to the left and follow her. Head to the right this time and make your way down to this kind of little alcove in the corner. Head into that area, take a right, and on the back table you will find pound sterling.
Coins. Aren't you going to take them? English currency. Never touch it.
And for the final collectible in this area, it's another curiosity, which is a declaration. You kind of hit this area, which is kind of a bit of the final sprint. It's near some horse stables. You've got some white tents, and you've got kind of like a bit of a fort in front of you. Drop down off the ledge, head straight towards this white tent, and you want to go inside the tent, the first tent you've got here. So head in, take a right, and follow the tables around. And on top of a stool, you will find the declaration.
This is the English Declaration of War. Edward III claims the French throne. When I want something, I don't declare
Okay, so we are now in chapter 7. You would have just solved this water wheel puzzle, and you would normally go through this archway here to continue forward. So go through this archway, however, look through the gap in the wall, use your slingshot, and you want to break off the handle on the other side. Make your way back out to the water wheel, down the stairs, and then you want to call upon your companion to give you a bit of a booster up into this area here. Once you're up in this area, head over to the left, and you will find another curiosity. This time around, it is a horseshoe. And if you've been following everything on so far, you'll also bag yourself the first collectible related achievement, which is Curiosities Hunter.
A little luck would be appreciated. If luck was found under horses' hooves, then...
Okay, so the next collectible on the list is a flower. You eventually hit this area where you've got some dilapidated houses and you've got a well. Head up to the well, and you've just gone past the aqueduct because you're meant to be following it. Head up to the well and you want to take a right. Follow the pathway to the right and you will see a house, and inside this house you will find the next flower of the game. Again, for some reason I choose to stand there and do absolutely diddly squat, so don't do what I do, actually talk to the kid and pick up the flower. Don't waste your life like me.
You know what that is?
Hawthorn, I think. Nobody likes it because of the thorns, but it's good for the heart.
Well, aren't you a fount of knowledge?
Mommy taught me.
You can teach me then.
And will you teach me how to use the sling?
It's a deal.
Okay, so this is a little bit later on in the chapter. Things have darkened up a little bit, and you'll be making your way down to this kind of port cutlass area. Hang on the right side of this area as you kind of come down. I've taken out the guards in the area, but there's this little kind of campfire with a bit of a base set up. Head over to the tables on the right hand side and you will find your next curiosity, which is a map of France. Okay, so eventually you reach a tower on the way to your new home, and make your way up the tower, and once you kind of get to the top you will run into a bit of a walkway that is covered in rats that get scared by lightning. Instead of going along this walkway, take a left and have your new companion unlock the door here for you. Once that door is unlocked, you'll be able to go in and you'll be able to find the next gift, which is a remedy, which they all claim to be smells really bad, so I don't really get why you would make that a gift. But anyway, Vinegar of the Four Thieves.
Ugh, it doesn't smell very good.
A good remedy is a remedy that stinks.
Okay, so we are now on chapter 8. You're in your new home, so the area in front of you is your sleeping area. There are a couple of collectibles that are actually quite easy access. So looking at this actual sleeping area, take a right. So this is the area where you would wake up at the beginning of the chapter. And you want to kind of go into this fallen down stairwell and you will find your first curiosity, which is an iconograph. I can't say it. Apologise. Once you're done with that one, about turn, head out of the room, go past your bedding, and you want to take a left here. Follow the walkway down past the workbench, and in the left hand corner at the bottom of these stairs you will find a crucible, which is a gift for Lucas.
An alchemist's crucible. Lucas will be happy.
Okay, so significantly later on this chapter you'll have a good chat with your friend about boys and brothers and how irritating they are. Once you've had this conversation, you want to kind of go in behind her and you will find a book on birds hidden behind the barrel.
Manual of the language of birds. Poetry, perhaps?
Okay, and at the end of this kind of chapter, you'll have a bit of a discussion with Hugo and you'll be leaving him behind in the new home. But just before you go and you exit the level, have a quick chat with him and he will give you your next flower.
What have you found?
Here, it's St. John's wort.
Oh,
It will protect you when you go to the town.
must be powerful stuff.
Yes, it's a very good flower. It looks good on you.
Thank you.
Okay, so we are now on chapter 9 and you're going back to a village of some form. Make your way, this is right at the very start of the chapter, make your way a bit down and you'll hear a bit of a talk about people being evacuated. Once that triggers, kind of about turn, look at this white log and then follow it on to the end of the tree and you will find the next flower in the game.
You'll also find the Inquisition.
Aren't you the smart one?
Hey, I'm waiting.
So quite a bit further on, you'll actually bump into a guard and a lady having an argument here, but you'll turn right into this room where you'll see a man hanging. Yeah, you want to knock this guy off and he'll become bait for the rat, but this will introduce a guard into the room who'll come in. You need to smash his lantern so the rats also then go after him, and then you need to use the explosive that can take out the rats. I think it's Luminoso. So chuck it onto the second pool of rats to get rid of them. Go past these rats and you will find a chest on the end which contains a curiosity, which is sheepskin.
It might be warm, but God, that smell.
Now a bit further on from this one, you'll be utilising a block and a movable lamp to solve a puzzle. You'll get a prompt to say move the block down to kind of get past the rats, but in this case walk around the back of this block, hop over the wall, drop down to the ledge below, and then in this kind of second compartment area there is a plaque on the wall which you need to click on, and that is another curiosity for you. Okay, and so this is right at the very end of the chapter. This is the gift, which is a chessboard. You'll be right outside the university and you'll have a couple of guys come out complaining about smart people and their ability to read. Now you need to take out these two guards. The one on with the spear has a helmet on, so you'll need the chemicals to make him take off his mask. The guy on the right is not wearing a helmet at all, so you can take him out with a slingshot. So use the chemicals on the guy on the left to distract him. Switch to your slingshot. Take out the guy on the right first of all, and as the other guy is finished messing around, take him out with the slingshot also. And head over to the table where they were stood, and you will find yourself the chessboard.
A chessboard. Lucas might like it.
Okay, so we are now on chapter 10 of the game. You're inside the university and you're put in the library. You'll have taken out this area with two guards, and there is a kind of a light system that you use to steer the rats around. Now for this bit, you want to head over to this corridor on the left. Throw down one of those canisters that will get rid of all of the rats, and you want to walk into the room and you will find a daisy. So this is the first flower of chapter 10 in the floor.
We're doing this for Hugo.
So you'll eventually come to a cutscene with a guy called Ricard, which is a blacksmith who has been taken away. As you kind of progress through the area, you'll walk through this area with a lot of pews. Once you're in that area, take a right halfway along and you will find a study of a skinned person. Beautiful. Shortly after freeing your new friend, you will eventually end up in a puzzle room. There is the next collectible in here. So head over to this area to the left where you see this bookshelf with a kind of a white cloth on it. Go through the gap in the bookshelf, and on the desk you will find your next curiosity, which is, I don't even know how to pronounce that, so I'm not even going to try. Yeah. If you know, comment it, tell me. Okay, and as you get to know your special new friend, you'll figure out that he can take people down after he's performed his second takedown, and in the same room of that takedown, where you distract the individual. Before you exit, take a right and follow the bookshelves around and go to the back, and you will find a set of reading glasses, which is a gift apparently.
These might help.
Okay, so we're now in chapter 11. You are back on home turf. There's only one collectible in this one, which is a flower. When you're out on this area, you'll eventually come to this area when you're following Ricard, I think his name is. Head down the ladder. Instead of following him straight on at this point, take a right. Follow the wall around, take another right, and you will find the flower next to some embers.
It would make Hugo smile, perhaps.
Hey, don't worry. He's a resourceful kid.
I know, but...
Okay, so we are now in chapter 12 and we're about to get the final gift of the game. So you come to this area where you use a lamp that you can rotate to kind of move forward, but instead you want to go into the house that's behind you. So you want to create one of those explosive items, Luminosos I think it's called, and you want to throw it into the house, and that will kind of clear out the rats. Unfortunately for me it doesn't do that. And on the back table you will find a pen. This is your mother's pen, and this is the final gift of the game, and you will bag yourself the trophy and achievement related to this for 100 gamer score. And as I do this, I kill myself, but you know, in the words of Acorn and Lonely Island, it still counts. Okay, so as you get further on into the chapter, you eventually come back inside the house, and you will be in your dining room, and you'll notice that all of the rats are running circle pits around the corpses on the floor as opposed to eating them. Once you're in the dining room, take a left at that dining room table, follow it all the way down, and you'll find a opening just here. You want to go through this opening, and in kind of the back right hand corner, you will find a helmet in a box next to the corpse of your friend.
Was it your father's? Yes. From his days fighting alongside King Philip. He was a great knight.
Okay, and then there is also a flower in this area. So once you hit this place, the character will announce that this is worse than she thought. Take a left as opposed to going down the stairs. You want to head all the way around, and you will find the flower just in the corner underneath a tree.
Intact. A cinquefoil, I think. Hugo wouldn't have wanted us to leave it here.
Okay, and eventually you'll come into this kind of secret area in the game. Now this room starts off pitch black, but eventually gets lit up all the way, so I just recommend holding on for a few minutes. From the entrance of the room, take a right and you'll find this lion plaque on the wall, and you want to head over to the left of it and you will find your next curiosity, which is your family tree.
Of my family, apparently.
Okay, so we're now in chapter 13. There are 3 collectibles in chapter 13. When you reach this kind of area with the lady beckoning you through the door, don't actually go through the door, take a left and you want to squeeze through this gap just here. And on the right, in what appears to be like a cradle or a cot, you will find Hugo's ragdoll.
His ragdoll. He never would have left it behind like this.
So a little bit later on, you'll have a bit of a conversation with this lady, no spoilers, and she'll tell you to go see Hugo in this room. Now, don't actually go and see Hugo. Take a right, and you want to follow the wall along, and you want to take a second right and go into this room, and you will find one of his knight action figures, and you want to pick that up off the table. That is another curiosity for you. And for the final collectible of this chapter, once you've freed Hugo from this cage, you want to follow the path past the horses. Don't go all the way down, but go kind of 2/3 of the way along. You will see this kind of path that steers off to the side, and at the end of this path you will find a daffodil, which is the next flower collectible in the game.
Do you want it?
Of course.
You're not too cross, are you?
I was scared, Hugo.
Me too.
Well, it's over now. Lady Daffodil will watch over us.
Yes.
Okay, so we're now in chapter 14. There is only one collectible in this area, and it's when you reach the garden and you are playing as Hugo. Now, I actually make a bodge job of this, and I really kind of screw it up. But you need to head into the garden, and the flower that you're going for is on the top right-hand corner of this would-be maze. So I kind of rush in the beginning without really thinking about what I'm doing. I kind of come in, I take a right, and I follow the kind of the hedges around. I think I have a bit of a panic attack. Because people start to spot me. Make your way around the hedges, follow the path that I do if you don't want to, because it's probably not optimal. I wasn't great at this bit, and I apologise. But the collectible is in the top right hand corner of this weird kind of hedge maze area.
Nightshade. I mustn't touch the berries. They're dangerous.
Okay, so you eventually be back at your home, and the guy will be knocking on the door. This is right at the very start of the level. You just want to head through the door on the right, up to the table, and then the next flower is right by the table. You can do this right at the start of the chapter, which is chapter 15. Okay, so on to the final chapter of the game. You'll be heading towards the cathedral. As you kind of come into the first area, you'll come across 2 guards having a bit of a chat in the street. As you come up on these 2 guards, take a right, and you want to follow the wall to the left, and you'll find a corpse that is kind of propped up against the wall, and he will have a whip, which is a curiosity of yours. Very curious.
Why?
ask me.
Flagellants whip themselves with it. It's probably got bits of flesh in it.
Okay, you eventually reach this area here, which requires you to have 2 fights to unlock the path to the next flower. So, when you enter the area, you will trigger the combat sequence. When you try to open the door for the burning house on the right, you will open the door at the bottom, so the enemies will come through from this area. Head into this location, and you want to follow the pathway all the way down to the end, and you want to grab the flower that is here. This is the final flower in the game, and this will bag you the botanist achievement for 100G.
It survived all this?
Yes, it's a warrior. It defends itself.
It's like us then.
That's right. It's your flower.
Thank you, Hugo. Let's go.
And for your final curiosity of the game, right outside the cathedral, you will have a very large battle. Just in front of you is a set of gallows. You want to make your way over to the gallows, and rather than going up onto them where your friends are, take a bit of a right, and you will find another body kind of popped up in the corner, and you will have a manual. This is the final curiosity of the game, and this will bag you the curiosity related achievement for 100G. I've been Justin here from the Achievement Squad. If you found this guide useful, make sure you like, comment and subscribe, and any feedback you can give me to improve, please let me know in the comments below. Thanks very much, and happy hunting!